Hey everyone, and welcome back. I really appreciate you spending your time here with me. I hope you all are doing well. So let's get started right into today's video, which is about fancy birds and the FNC token. Remember, as always, this is not financial advice. I am, after all, a crypto noob. So Fancy Birds is a play-to-earn game based on the popular Flappy Birds. Fancy Games is the studio behind Fancy Birds and is focused on building mobile-based casual games with play-to-earn mechanics. Now, I first started investing in Fancy Birds at the beginning of the year, actually on January 1st, 2022. So let's first discuss the reasons I chose to invest in the Fancy Birds ecosystem. Now remember, I am a crypto noob and these are just my opinions. There are many crypto projects out there and new ones are popping up all the time. I'm not trying to promote this project over any other investments. I just want to document my thinking behind why I chose to invest in this particular project. Okay, so now one major reason I chose to invest in Fancy Games and the FNC token was that the tokenomics are very generous, especially if you invest in the project early on. Now, YouTuber Scoriox discusses FNC tokenomics in greater detail, but here I just want to mention two features I thought were very beneficial for token holders. The first is yield distribution. Fancy Games offers both single-sided staking of the FNC token and staking of FNC ETH liquidity tokens on their website. The yield as of mid-February is around 70% for single-sided FNC staking and around 500% for LP staking. Now remember, these figures will fluctuate and the overall yield distribution will decrease over time and will also decrease as more people deposit funds into the staking pools. Now, the second benefit for token holders of FNC is revenue distribution. Basically, holders of FNC tokens that are staked earn a part of the revenue the game generates. Now let's move on to one feature of the FNC tokenomics which I think is particularly very powerful for the token price. So there is a max supply of 1 billion tokens, but when you claim your rewards from staking, you have the choice to claim rewards as either FNC tokens or SFNC tokens, which is synthetic FNC. SFNC can be used in-game with added benefits over FNC, but whenever SFNC is claimed, the underlying FNC is burned. This means the overall max supply of FNC decreases whenever SFNC is claimed, and only FNC can receive revenue distributions. So basically, if a lot of people claim SFNC, this would decrease the total supply of FNC and increase the rewards per token in revenue distribution. I know that was a lot of information, and this is just my thoughts on this, and I could be totally off in my analysis. I mean, the game hasn't even launched yet, but if this scenario should play out, where large amounts of rewards are claimed as SFNC, then I would think that the price of each remaining FNC token would appreciate over time. Anyway, let's move on to some pros I like about the Fancy Birds game itself. Fancy Birds is a mobile-based casual game, and what that means to me is that one, the game should have an easy learning curve, meaning people can just start playing and enjoying the game right away without having to learn a bunch of complicated strategies. Two, Fancy Birds game itself is based on the well-known Flappy Birds using the same game mechanics, so it has a game style that has proven to be popular in the past. Three, being primarily mobile-based means that the game is more accessible to larger number of players in more settings. Not everyone has a gaming desktop or even a desktop period, but a large number of people have smartphones. People could be playing this game while commuting, waiting for an appointment, or just hanging out. And four, Fancy Birds is just the first in a series of casual mobile games Fancy Games has planned. And each of these games would use the same Fancy Birds NFTs and the same underlying FNC tokens. I think overall, these positives are great, and I really do believe in the future success of the project. But for the sake of balance, let's touch upon two cons which I have been considering. The first is that the game itself may end up not being very popular, and the number of players may remain very small, which would mean that the ecosystem would be small and the revenue distribution per token would also be small. Second is the long-term viability of the play to earn mechanics in the game. Axie Infinity example, where you saw a massive influx of players, a large number of SLP tokens being generated, and a decrease in the demand for Axies, things like that. But I just want to point this out just to show that there are potentially some challenges that lay ahead for fancy games. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So, have any of you heard about Fancy Birds? If so, what do you think of the project? They recently had the minting of the original 8,888 Genesis birds, And by chance, did any of you guys get any of these rare NFTs? The last thing I want to mention is that I am a crypto noob, and this content is just my noob opinions. My analysis may be totally off. Please do your own research before investing into any project. Okay, well, if you found any value here, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Please take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.